Hey everybody, this is Phat Infantry here with a few Phat setups for you as we head into Tuesday after our Labor Day weekend. I'm going to run through these in about 5 minutes. ARHS is home furnishing. That's our first one up tonight. And what you'll notice if you look down this list is that ITB Home Builders is looking good and we have home furnishing. So ETFs are setting up with the home builders and home furnishing, RH as well, and Lowe's. Down here with the home improvement. So we have a couple of those guys setting up after a nice explosive move out of a basing area, and now they're pulling back. You can see AHRS right here off a nice gap up off of earnings. We pushed up, that's power earnings gap, and we're now holding that low from the earnings. So looking good right here. This is a really nice spot. You can manage your risk off of the low of the day from this higher low volume pullback right here into that 20 EMA. It's just really nice setup right there on ARHS, and you'll see that with those other home furnishings and home sectors as well. TLN is trying to be the relative strength leader as we see a pullback in some of the nuclear and AI infrastructure type plays, and TLN is setting up very well. Natural gas, nuclear, uranium type theme area off the AI infrastructure and the energy needs for countries as they try to push into those areas. And you can see the volume right here while everything else is pulling back. TLN is holding up very well. So although it's a little bit extended from where I would normally enter on a low volume pullback, I would be interested in this one through that high of the day on intraday volume, which is how you can play all of these plays that you see here today. Jenny, GENI. So casinos had a really good past couple weeks, really the month. Jenny pushed out of a really nice base, has now pulled back for a classic low volume. You can see a very symmetrical low volume pullback right there. RMV is a little bit loose at 19. I like to see it below 5. And right here, it's ready to go again. But with the market the way it is right now, growth placing, XLK, tech placing, be pulling back. Would have a few concerns there. But I will say that casinos tend to fare well if we are pulling back in down economy type situations. So if this is part of a greater pullback, Jenny may actually hold up well. Something to watch. ITB, we already talked about that. So ETF with the home builders, really nice low volume setup right here. And then Nail is the one that I really want to get into. This is the 3X inverse of ITB home builders. So this would be the one that I would like to enter. I'll use ITB as my entry vessel, actually as my edge to enter on Nail as my entry vessel. ASTS, another low volume pullback. So if we see the space theme start to trail off a little bit and the leaders are separating themselves, and ASTS is a potential one right here, showing nice relative strength turn up right here, just ever so slightly. And also we're showing a stage 2A Sam Weinstein potential breakout right here. This is a stage 2, this darker green. So this is exactly what we would want to see right here. This sort of an entry and play off that 50 EMA right there. That would be best case scenario. So we have a low volume pullback with 2 upside reversals. So looking good right there. Again, you can play all these through the high of the day on intraday volume on a smaller time frame. ARQT, not big fan of the bios, but if I was going to play one, it would be ARQT. Looks like it's been through its basing phase after a strong move up earlier this year. It's got earnings out of the way, and in fact, the earnings VWAP is slightly turned up, and you can see it's getting pushed up off that 50 EMA. Not the best looking volume in the world, but sometimes those bios want to run, and ARQT could be one to be of interest. Lyft, so iDrive, DRIV, those ETFs are still looking good. While everything else was pulling back during the week, Drive and iDrive in terms of relative rotation showed some very strong velocity moves from node to node last week, so I'm still interested in those type of plays, and that is the only one set up. Ptone's a little bit of a gambler play. It's above the 50 EMA and above the 200 right here, but it is below the earnings VWAP that is turned down. But this volume on Friday and this tight price action has me curious. One to look for through the high of the day on Ptone with intraday volume. Could be something happening there with Ptone. And we are seeing the discretionary try to take the leadership as far as the growth sectors go away from XLK and XLC. So we could see some discretionary movement, and Ptone is one that is in a setup. ERJ, Jet's looking really good right now, and ERJ coming off the tariff news with Trump and the Brazilian president is just basic, moving sideways, not doing anything wrong, and volume is drying up, and we did put in an upside reversal hammer bar on Friday. So if you look at Jets, The Jets ETF is looking strong, and several other plays as well are working good in that sector. So we want to keep our eyes on ERJ and potentially, how much lower would it go off that news? It's kind of become old news. So we could see really nothing but upside from that. In terms of managing your risk right now, I think it's a good management. And then RH, you can see the wedging taking place right here, looking really nice and tight. Price is really starting to tighten up on RH. It's not quite as good on the low volume, but had much better accumulation volume than ARHS. But ARHS, of course, had the gap up off of earnings and prices holding. So choose your poison right there, but through the high of the day on intraday volume. WRD is looking good. WRD is, again, part of that iDrive, Drive, ETF type area. China, opposite of Google with Waymo. So we ride a low volume pullback through the high of the day. And then lows, just a beautiful wedging action right there. Nice setup, coming in nice and tight off a price right there. And we're over 5 minutes, so we'll shut it down. All these through the high of the day on intraday volume. Good luck to you Tuesday. Thank you.